All right. I think we're on.
We're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good day. Good evening to you, wherever you are. You know what time it is?
It's that time of the morning. It's time to get shit
shit
done. That's right.
That's right. Rock and roll. All right. So yeah, I had some great insights around community building and what we're doing with Get Shit Done. It's becoming clearer and clearer to me. And so I'm looking forward to sharing some of that stuff with you guys today and with you, Eric, as we talk it through. Has to do with like what we're doing today, which is a Get Shit Done intervention. It turns out we've kind of scratched the surface a little bit, during some of our previous episodes, but we were really explaining and talking about the principles and concepts behind Get Shit Done. But yesterday we started digging a little bit deeper into Eric's psyche and finding out what was messing with him and what's holding him back, and like actually looking at it in a public setting, which is a little intense and vulnerable and whatever. So Eric, thank you for playing ball, and just like being willing to, give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, talk about hot seat coaching. It's like I've done that like in group coaching situations where you're like in a private Zoom call, which is still like kind of edgy because there's a bunch of people there, but like live stream, public internet.
Yeah. So it has a charge to it, right?
Does, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do more of that. So here's awesome. What we got. So guys, today we're doing part 2 of our Get Shit Done intervention with my friend and colleague, student, colleague, all the above, Eric Oliver, and co-host. And Eric's been on 10 episodes in a row, 10 days in a row with me on the Get Shit Done show. So dude, like, thank you for your committed volunteer work to help like get this thing cooking. Like, really cool. And
you're welcome.
That's what I realized. So check this out, right? So okay, well, first of all, we're going to be talking about Get Shit Done intervention, where we're actually going to get in the weeds with Eric. We're going to talk about some of this morning I was going to have today's episode be about Get Shit Done interventions because I had so much fun yesterday. And then when we got on, I said, Eric, is there anything that you want to focus on, you want to bring up, you want to talk about today? And he's like, oh, there's so much more to talk about based on what we just began scratching the surface of yesterday. And so I was like, okay, great. So this is a great time to go into the more Get Shit Done interventions. So that's what the majority of the episode today is going to be about. But I want to extend this as an invitation to you, because this is the opportunity is that instead of this just being, another interview show where we're interviewing a bunch more entrepreneurs who have been interviewed 1,000 times, which we will have. Like, I have a bunch of really great entrepreneurs who are incredible at getting shit done and or have systems and processes that are amazing for helping entrepreneurs increase their productivity and get shit done, from supplement owners to software as a service companies, to productivity, time management methodologies. There are quite a few systems and processes and softwares out there that are amazing. And I will be interviewing people and sharing with you guys. But what I realized that I think might be much more important and impactful is to actually have the shows with the co-hosts and the guests really be about our community. And so instead of focusing on interviewing the next big, super celebrity, we focus on helping our community members live, publicly, without a net. Put it on the line. We're going to get real with it. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow you as Get Shit Done community members to like get in there and talk about what's holding you back and actually admit it, and then do something about it and state publicly what you're going to do about it. Okay. Which is extraordinary accountability. And it's part of the Get Shit Done process, which is tracking your results and reporting them. Right. And so the idea is that we can actually interview our members multiple times over whatever span of time. And when we come in for another member interview, we're going to check in on what they've gotten done since our last time together. So not only are we focusing on helping our members unlock the garbage that's holding them back, but we're checking in with them on their progress. And it's endless content. So it's endless, amazing content for the world for us to share on Facebook, on YouTube, and all the different places that we can put shows out to. But it's exposure for our co-hosts. It's exposure for our members, and all of them are entrepreneurs. And they're all going to get a chance to talk about their stuff. And so it's like, it's kind of like public therapy a little bit, right?
Right.
It seems pretty intense. So anyway, we're talking about our Get Shit Done interventions. And if you are a Get Shit Done fan, if you are a viewer and you want a Get Shit Done intervention, like we're going to do with Eric today, and like we did yesterday, where we're actually going to get on a live stream and we're going to talk about your shit, and we're going to talk about exactly what you can do to pull your head out of your butt and get in action. Okay. Is really what it comes down. And I'll hold your feet to the fire. Like I will hold you accountable. And if that's something that sounds appealing to you, then say intervention down in the comments below and shoot Eric or I a direct message on whatever platform you're watching this on. And we'll send you an intake form and we'll get it lined up. I don't know if we should do an interview with people ahead of time or not. We'll find out. We'll try a few different things. But for now, a lot of the people that are going to do this are probably people that I already know, because that are already comfortable with me and know that like everything's going to be okay. Right. So thanks for putting your trust in me, Eric, and being willing to get into it. So,
yeah.
So yesterday we were talking about how to get out of a rut that you might be stuck in. If you're stuck basically in complacency zone, if you've been in the same financial situation more or less for a really long time and you want to get out of it, but you're not getting out of it, that's what we're talking about. One of the things that actually, you know what? I could recap everything that I said, but instead, why don't we go over to you, Eric? Like, what did you take away overall from our session together yesterday, and what did it get you thinking about?
Let's see. Gosh, we covered a lot. I was looking at my notes from yesterday because there was so much.
Eric, you have a someone's coming in that I definitely am not going to even try to pronounce their name. Looks like it might be Japanese, but I have absolutely no idea. No, maybe African.
African, yeah.
African.
Yeah, somebody from my friends list.
Yeah.
Hey,
so
good to see you.
Thanks for showing up. American and shorten it to Ike, because I don't.
Okay.
I can't pronounce your first name. I'm gonna
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Ike says, "How are you doing?" He says,
"Intervention." All right.
What are you streaming with? So yeah, Ike, we got your message, and shoot Eric a message, and we'll
let's connect.
Make happen. First volunteer, rock and roll. All right. So
yeah.
Eric, what do you?
So yeah, one thing that really stood out was like talking about the long-term supervision, not just talking about having these goals that are small and short term. Like, right. I'm not just trying to pay my bills. I'm trying to like be a rock star and crush it and like build an enormous team that you can be a part of, and like we'll create all this momentum together and crush all of our goals collectively, not just like, oh yeah, join my thing so you can pay your bills. That's not
like join my thing so I don't have to work hard, but you can work hard for me instead.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not the long-term supervision. And and then also another thing that stood out is like what you shared about more cheese, less whiskers.
Oh, Dean Jackson. Yeah, Dean Jackson. That's a podcast. You should sign out and listen to it. He's a great storyteller and one of the most elegant like beautiful thinkers in marketing that I know. Like
Yep.
his ideas they're like resonant. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, what I got from that is just, focus on more of the benefit of how I can help people, and how my help and my offer, what I can, help you with, can be a solution to some of your biggest problems, instead of, yeah, just like approaching people with, how can I best be of service and help you, as opposed to, you know, sign my thing so I can make a commission.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that's what it's
And
all about. It's
it,
about
it's
helping people overcome their biggest problems in life. What are you struggling with? What are you trying to overcome? What's your long-term supervision, and how can I help you get there?
right. What, dude, one of the challenges that I've had with that concept is that when you ask people how you can help them, they have absolutely no idea
I
and
know it.
no ability to articulate it. They're
Hmm.
not used to or trained in or expected to be able to clearly ask for the help that they need because they think they should be able to do it themselves, even when they have no freaking idea, you
Yep.
know? And so what happens is it can be very frustrating once you've trying to make that shift of, oh, I'm just trying to get somebody's money versus, oh, I'm in this for the long haul. What I'm actually doing is I get paid well and paid consistently. The better I get at helping people, the more money I make. Okay. Like at the end of the day, that is the magic formula. But the problem is it takes years in order for you to get extraordinary at helping people, because it's not just asking them what they need, it's observing what they need and showing up with the answer before they even realize they have the problem. Right. And then you're like the savior because you've already thought the whole situation through 50 steps in advance, and they're on step one, and you already know the map, you already know the territory, you've already been up that mountain 150 times in your life, you know it like the big back of your hand,
Yeah. No, definitely.
yeah, you're their guide. So but the thing is to be aware enough and sensitive enough and be able to put in the work to do the, you could say, research. It might be going in 100 different Facebook groups on your topic and spending time there and adding value. That might be your research.
Hmm.
But like really taking the time and putting in the commitment to helping people. And so it's like and then there's this other piece to that puzzle, which is so often this comes up, and it's so frustrating, is you're like, oh, I see what this person needs. I see what they need. I'm going to help them, and I'm going to find a way of giving them what they need or telling them what they need. They don't give a crap.
They don't. Yeah, they don't want it.
So then it's sell them what they want and give them what they need. So that's the next step. Is
Okay.
first you have to stop being a self-serving money grubber. Step
Yep.
one. Step two is you start helping people instead of just trying to extract cash from them, right? And you're in it for the long haul. Step three is you realize that they don't want what they need, and that's why they're in the situation they're in the first place. Okay, they haven't realized that they need to pull their head out of their ass, and they're chasing the rabbit down the wrong path, right? Yeah, they're looking for short-term satisfaction instead of putting in the long-term commitment to do whatever. Name your topic, right?
Right.
And then then you have to create an offer or a solution that serves that immediate desire, that immediate want, and brings them to the next step to actually get them a permanent path out if they're willing to do the work to make it happen or implement the thing or whatever. So sell them what they want, give them what they need is kind of that next phase. But that's great. I mean, the trick is every point along the path that you get frustrated is the opportunity. That frustration of why aren't they behaving the way I want them to? That's the sign that you're going the right way.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that frustration or that
Mm-hmm.
confusion. It never stops, by the way.
Right. Okay.
It's just like you have to keep relearning it over and over again.
Yep.
Or at least so far, I've had to keep relearning it over and over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what comes to mind immediately is I had a phone conversation yesterday with a team member that I haven't been in touch with for a long time. And yeah, he got started. He hasn't been active. He kind of fell off right away. He came in on a pretty high level of investment, and I really wanted to help him. Like, I mean, he made a big investment, and I know he had a big vision and a dream, and kind of immediately fell off.
Yeah.
And I know he's strapped for time, has a lot going on in his life, and I just wanted to help him, like give him the most simple, effective thing that he could do to generate a bunch of leads on a daily basis that I would nurture myself and help him close the sales on. And it would maybe even take him like 10 or 20 minutes a day at the bare minimum. And then I'd take over from there. Just him, all he would have to do is generate the leads. And I gave him the most effective tool for that. And yeah, just
not into it.
You can lead a horse to water.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally.
and it's frustrating to me, but you can't drag people along. They have to want to show up for it. Yeah.
Everyone has totally legitimate, justified reasons, at least for them, for not going along with your master plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So again, it comes down to a dedication to helping the people who are ready to play ball, like ready to get in there, and because like everybody else won't, and that's all right. So, all right. So let's talk about this a little bit more. So, we're talking about goals and not just having it be all about you and your little dinky needs, right?
Yep.
And try to actually create something that's more meaningful and more impactful. And by the way, guys, commercial break. We're doing part 2 of a Get Shit Done intervention with Eric Oliver today. And if you like this kind of idea of actually digging in to what's holding you back from taking the kind of action in the direction of your goals that you want to, and stop making excuses about it and start taking action on it, then say intervention in the comments below. And this is a 2-step process, and send Eric or I, whoever's platform, whatever social platform you're watching this video on, send us a direct message and let us know. And we'll see about getting you on the show to do a live Get Shit Done intervention where we're gonna really find out what's going on, find out how you're holding yourself back, knock that obstacle right out of the way, and get you moving forward faster than you could possibly imagine, to supercharge your productivity, to really learn how to embrace and move past the resistance that you might have around X, Y, or Z. You may or may not even be able to see it, and to really unlock some potential so you can move forward faster than ever before, right? That's the idea here. So, Eric, where have your thoughts gone in the last 24 hours since our session together? Like, where are you at with this? Do you have questions? Are there particular points you want to talk through more deeply?
A main key area that I've been focused on is better scheduling.
Right. And I saw your post about your calendar post yesterday.
Yeah, I'm now using Google Calendars.
Look at that. Holy upgrade, that, man. That's good.
Yeah. I still have to figure out the notifications and the color coding and all that, but
it doesn't take that long.
I'll get it dialed in. And I also have to, now that I have it, it's not enough to just have it. I have to actually schedule stuff in it. Otherwise, it's still just in my brain and not even in my notebook because I'm not putting it there now. I'm like, I have Google Calendars. Yeah.
That's right.
So that's where one key area where my mind's been at a lot. And I don't know if that directly ties into what we were talking about yesterday, but it really is a key element that I've been grappling with over here is scheduling.
That's the thing. Is so often, I mentioned this before, I've known a bunch of people that are very creative and do a paper calendar and drop the ball on stuff, and they're frustrated all the time about it, who also refuse to start using a digital calendar system and say they're just not that kind of person or whatever. And I say, I call BS on that. That is your excuse for not getting your act together. If you have a scheduling system that is freaking bulletproof and totally analog, maybe you're using a 1950s notebook that, a leather notebook, with that you got from your grandfather or whatever, whoever you got your old scheduling system from, that's awesome. You're probably way more on top of it than anybody else. You're like a banker or an accountant, and you don't need all the tech to keep track of your stuff. You're not even watching this video. You're probably super productive. But yeah, if you struggle with if you're not making the money you want to make, you don't have enough time in the day to do all the things that you want to do, and like you're struggling with juggling and keeping all the meetings and the balls and the sales calls and your day-to-day tasks, actually getting all of these things done, which by the way, there's never enough time. There isn't. There's an infinite list of things that you could do that you'll never have time in your life to do.
Oh my God, I know, right? Yep.
So it's not a matter of whether there's enough time. There's not. So you got 24 hours though, right? So, and then there's the worry. Oh, I don't want my schedule and my life to be so organized and regimented that it loses all of its fun and joy, and I'm just this hyper organized, anal, uptight business person. Well, then don't make your schedule that way. How about that? You know what I mean? Like, make your schedule. You're going to make your schedule however you want to. So there's lots of lame reasons not to do this. But if you're not on top of your time, if you're not on top of your schedule, highly recommend use Google Calendar. Put it on your phone, put it on your computer, turn the alarms on, schedule everything, and block in repeated work party meetings with people. Okay. The more work parties on your calendar with people to actually push your projects forward, the better. Okay.
Absolutely.
The more collaborations you have, either with multiple people or it could be the same person every day, where you're getting in there and you're knocking work out for 90 minutes or whatever you're doing, like you will move mountains, especially on new projects, if you do this. And we're doing a get shit done work parties for our community on Mondays at noon Eastern. And we're going to do, are you able to do the work party today after this session that we talked about or not?
Yeah, I was planning on it. I have it
great.
scheduled in.
Yeah, so Eric and I are doing, I didn't send you a Google Calendar invite yet, but we'll get that locked in today. Eric and I are going to do a kind of internal get shit done teamwork party today. And then we're going to be connecting with our potential co-hosts, and assuming they become co-hosts, we'll get some of those co-hosts in on the work party when we're going to be getting together, and we're going to be spending concentrated chunks of time knocking out tasks to grow and nurture the get shit done community. Right. So really, really looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. But Eric, let's get back to you. So
yeah,
you are working on, you're thinking about these bigger goals and doing something greater. You got a Google Calendar, and which is it's a practical action step to like be more on top of your shit, to get more shit done. Like it is, but you have to agree internally that you're to do it. Then you have to, like, Google Calendar has been around for 20 years, dude. There's whatever, like maybe not 20, but close to it. It's been around for a long time. You know what I mean? So like, that's a lot of resistance. Congratulations. Like, I mean, it's free, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much everybody has access, I think, if you want to. And so, are there any other pieces to yesterday that really stuck out for you or you're wrestling with?
That's been the most significant thing for me right now, is just scheduling I've had just like a lot of we talked about bandwidth the other day. Yeah, my bandwidth has been spread the past several days,
Yeah.
and scheduling has been paramount
Yeah.
in in
No,
in managing with that.
one thing I would encourage you to do is like, so argument's sake, right?
Mhm.
Let's say that you were going to get a job,
Mhm.
and let's say, and I'm choosing this number because I know it's such a common number, but let's say you were going to get a job, you had to get a job in order to pay the bills. Let's say it's a job doing something that you're interested in, you're fairly good at, you want to get better at, it's an opportunity to grow. And let's say said job pays 10 grand a month before taxes.
Mhm.
Okay. Right now, at this point in your life, you don't know what the job is, but like it'll be fine, right? Whatever. You can work from home, right? You don't know what the
Right.
job is, but how many hours, like based on hourly wage slash, salary, if you're making 10 grand a month, how many hours a week do you think you're going to probably need to clock in and clock out on that job?
Right.
No, just for you. What do you think? How many hours a week do you think you're probably going to be expected to work in order to make 10 grand a month?
Um, and this is what a salary job where I'm making dollars per hour, or this is how does this work?
Well, there's dollars per hour and then there's salary, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes with salary you need to work overtime a little bit if it's
Mhm.
expected, but whatever. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't
How many
matter.
hours
Yeah.
do you
So
think you're
how
going to have
much
to
do
put
I
in
need?
per week to make 10 grand a month working from home?
It depends how much leverage I can create.
Not much.
Okay, not much. I'm gonna have to work my ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It at a bare minimum, probably 8 hours a day.
Right, like a 40-hour work week, full
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Yeah, totally, right.
Right.
So, like, if I was gonna go and land myself a job as a chief marketing officer, right, CMO, or lead copywriter, chief marketing, like working for a company, um, I'm gonna make, depending on the company and depending, blah blah blah, I'm gonna make between 100 grand a year, basically 10 grand a month, and maybe 250 a year. It could be much greater if I know the owner and there's a percentage deal and I get paid on performance and all that kind of stuff. But like, if I just went and took a job as like a CMO, right, I'm going to make somewhere between 100 grand and 250 grand a year in most companies, right? And
Mhm.
there are some
Yep.
bigger high growth tech companies where I might be able to get a higher paying salaried position. But I would, in those cases, you're going to be working 60, 70, 80 hours a week at the higher levels, higher output. But certainly 40 hours a week to make 10 grand a month, right? In
Yep.
most,
Yep. Sure.
unless you land a sweet deal. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't sweet deals out there, but so what I'm saying is, if another business is willing to pay you 10 grand a month to help them run and grow their business, and they're also willing to do that with a whole slew of other people, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands, are you willing to put that amount of time, effort, and energy into growing your own business to get it to 10 grand a month?
Exactly. Yeah.
Most people,
That's a good way to
most
think of it.
people are so spoiled and lazy by the idea of making easy passive internet riches
Mhm.
that they never put the time, the effort, the energy, and the elbow grease into their own business that they need to in order to just scrape by. So if you put 8 hours a day, 5 days a week into Kagan, how long would it take you to get to 10 grand a month, dude? Think about that for a second. Probably not that long, but it's hard to get up at 6. I mean, if you have kids, get your kids ready for school. If you don't, get yourself ready for the day. Exercise, shower, eat well, hopefully meditate, get your head straight, and like be on point somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m. and work your ass off all freaking day long, 5 days a week until 5 or 6 p.m. And then it's time to make dinner. You know,
Right.
and like that. So that's the grind. And the beautiful part is about running your own business and running an internet business is that leverage does come much, much sooner than it ever will in most jobs. Most jobs you never get the leverage. You just have to keep on that treadmill for 30 years or whatever, and then you retire, and hopefully you have enough saved and in your retirement and whatever to coast, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But if you put that same level of intensity and work and consistency and skill development and constant improvement into yourself, into improving yourself and to growing and improving your business, it doesn't take that long for most people to get to 10 grand a month. Less than a year in most cases, if you're actually willing to work full time on making it happen. Most people just they're so blinded by the hope of the passive income that they're never willing to do the work to create it. And so that's what I guess that's one of the get shit done things is, so now you have a digital calendar.
I do.
So now it's time to make some boundaries for yourself to keep yourself working and to keep the rest of the world out when it's time to get shit done. And I'm not going to tell you to block off 9 to 5, 5 days a week if that's not what you want to do. You get to decide how many days or how many hours and what the time is. But my suggestion to you and to everyone else is make that intentional.
Exactly.
Make it purposeful, right? Like decide how much time you're going to spend each day and each week doubling down to get that business to whatever your goal is. Right. And then block it off, and then block the activities off that you're doing during that time. And then if you need to get shit done accountability partners, to do the work with, or for you to do their work while your work while they're doing their work or whatever. And again, that's something that's inside the community, or anyone can also go out and just do on your own, right? But the next piece is time blocking, right? Blocking off the activities that you need to be doing. So what I do is I block off time for exercise because I'm doing 45 minutes twice a day. I block off time to bring my kids to and from school. Let's see. I block off, any either hypnosis sessions or sales calls are scheduled, blocked off time using Calendly. When I'm going to have a phone call with someone or a Zoom call, like a catch up or an exploratory call, either with an old friend or a new acquaintance or someone I've just been introduced to, I block all those times off on my calendar. Those are usually one-offs. But then, like, if you want to send an email to your list every day, you need the time set aside to do that, or you're going to be scampering around all day.
Yep.
If you want to, like, one thing I haven't been blocking off that I realized is dumb is that I need to have time blocked every day for me to be in the Get Shit Done community, creating content, responding to people's posts, interacting with the community and caring for the community every day, both in the school group and the Facebook group. Right now I'm doing it when I feel like it.
Right.
I'm not doing it every day. And like, if you're building a community and you want those plants to grow, like, you got to take care of them every day. It's not a when you feel like it situation. It's a commitment to consistency and showing up and taking care of it. So, whatever your activities are that you think you want to be doing, that you think are the things, block them off in your calendar. That's the next That's the next step. Block that time for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I need to do. That's the next step. I was just thinking about how, sure, there's like the scheduled appointments. I'm going to have a call with so and so at
Right.
such and such time. But then there's the stuff on my shit list. There's my daily routines. All of that needs blocks of time. And then I'm so much more organized
Right.
and can actually get it done. One thing that's been coming up that I wanted to ask you about in like, yeah, just how this is, if it's ever come up for you, which
Yeah.
probably has, and wonder what your take on it, how you've navigated through it. Is
Yeah.
like, how do you get how do you get shit done when shit happens? When you're like, your focus and like, yeah, when something of magnitude is happening in your life around you, that makes it more challenging to focus on the tasks that you need to get done, even when you have the blocks of time set aside to get them done.
Usually when shit blows up, I don't get my shit done.
Okay.
Sorry. I mean, that's my
Yeah.
real answer is like,
Yep.
I personally get very affected by my emotional state. If I'm like, I used to think that I was totally in charge of my emotional state and I'm all hypnosis and NLP and emotions work for me. I don't work for them. And I put myself in the
Mm-hmm.
state I want to be in order to, achieve maximum success. And that was like young Tellman. And then I realized you can influence all this stuff, but like if you're actually caring about the people around you and caring about, like all of the things that are setting you off,
Mm-hmm.
and being present, with the people around you, that doesn't mean you're changing your emotional state necessarily, but being with it. And
Right.
if I'm highly anxious, if I'm worried, if I have health concerns about myself or someone close to me, I'll notice myself shutting down. Last 4 or 5 days, I've had a cold. I've had like very foggy head, like 65% energy. I've been getting, there's a lot of shit that I haven't been getting done in the last week, even
Mm-hmm.
though I've been getting a lot of shit done. Like I've had to take naps, and then like in the evening, I've been laying on the couch watching TV a little bit instead of like knocking stuff out because I've just been
Yep.
tired,
Sure. Okay.
That's not extreme
All
stuff.
right.
It's kind of mild stuff. I've had a cold. But
Yeah,
like,
sure.
yeah, man, okay, the answer to your question is when things get really difficult and I can't get all the shit done, the two things that are most important for me are exercise and meditation or hypnosis.
All right. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Because like after a good run, no matter how bad things are, I almost always feel better, more empowered, more self-confident, like I can handle it. I have more oxygen in my brain. I've gotten a bunch of toxins out of my body, right? And the endorphins are flowing. A little happier, a little less
Mm-hmm.
anxious. And then meditation, more, meditation or hypnosis. It's great. I listen to all of my own hypnosis sessions at this point, and it's just
Great.
like, it's wild.
Yep.
But yeah, so those basically get some good thoughts in your head when you get all stressed out and freaked
Mm-hmm.
out, like, and get your body in a better space. And obviously eating well is also critical. And so that's kind of the baseline. Do things to reduce your stress, but in healthy ways, right?
Right. Okay.
But like, I'm not usually hyper productive on days that like I have some big argument with my ex-wife or something about something with the kids. Like I just
Okay.
don't do that well those days,
Yeah, it's understandable.
or
Yeah.
like um or if there's like some sort of like blow up with my sister or my mom or my dad or something like that. Like, I do a pretty good job of compartmentalizing, but like
Yeah.
Certainly not always. A lot of times I'm just kind of a mess. And
Hmm.
sometimes I need to like just kind of take half the day off and chill. You know,
Right. Okay. Got you.
like those are
Yep.
my those are my honest answers.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can just double down and work hard in order to like ignore the difficulty that's going on. And
Right.
there is some benefit to that to a certain degree. If you have to get shit done, even if things are blowing up, you have to get shit done. Like sometimes you got a webinar you got to run. Sometimes you got some
Yeah.
sales calls you got to do. Sometimes you need to record 5 hours of video content, even though you're up puking all night because you have the flu. Sorry. Like
Right.
sometimes you just got to do it.
Sometimes you got to do it. Yeah. I mean,
But
that's kind of what came up for me too. Is just like, I mean, there's like leaning into discipline, right? But then there's also sometimes stuff that's happening around you takes precedent, and it's really important to make the space to work through that stuff. And sometimes you just have to pause, even if it's at a time when you were like in beast mode getting shit done, and then there's things
well,
outside of
dude,
that that need attention, you know?
if like one of my kids is suddenly rushed to the hospital, sales calls are canceled for the day. Sorry. Right?
Sorry,
Like
right? Yeah.
just to make it real, like that's the deal.
Hmm.
So that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's a balance. That's the trick. Is if things are blowing up in your life, it probably involves another human being. Chances are good.
Hmm.
And using work to avoid dealing with that is also not such a good idea,
It's not, yeah.
right? But yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes you have some responsibilities where you have to get in it. Like, um, yeah, no, I mean, it's important stuff, and
Hmm.
it's hard to balance it sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, something that I was thinking about yesterday that, I mean, maybe we touched on a little bit, but I wanted to touch more on
Yeah,
is um yeah, the idea of, or the concepts of consistency, momentum, and inertia, and how
yeah,
those, it's kind of like a natural, like they're all super intertwined and form this mechanism to just crush goals. And yeah, like for me, consistency, it's that's the showing up part. It's like you're either going to show up or you're not, and it's doing that repeatedly over and over again. And then the momentum is like developing, routines. And that's also part of the consistency, having those routines that they're reoccurring.
right.
And all of that creates a lot of inertia. It's like trying to start a freight train from a dead stop. You have to push really hard and you're moving really slow at first. And that's kind of the energy that I find myself in when I'm like on beast mode, and then I'm just getting started and everything's flowing really fast, but then I stop before I've really built that momentum and inertia to keep everything moving. And
Dude.
then it's like trying to push it really hard from a dead stop again. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
So,
like
uh,
running through water.
so I'll give you the solution to that problem if you want it,
Sure.
because I mean it's a big deal. But like, I do often have clients that talk about these types of principles and forces.
Yep.
And my experience of it, let me tell you a story. So I know this guy. He
Hmm.
lives in Miami,
Yeah.
and every day. So this is insane. His name is the Raven, and he has been running a 7-mile stretch on Miami Beach every single day for 50 years.
Oh my God.
He just celebrated like a couple of days ago. I follow him on Facebook, right? I met him once during Tellman Run. I went down there and I ran with him, and he nicknamed me Stellarfoot. And because I think I was saying stellar a lot at the time, and so he called me Stellarfoot.
Yeah.
And he just celebrated his 50, I mean 50 years of running 7 miles every day.
That's insane.
He used to run it barefoot, and then he got a nail through his foot one day, and he started running with shoes on.
Okay.
Okay.
Gosh, what's the math on that? Like how many
miles?
How many miles is that? So many. It's like halfway to the moon or something.
I think his name is Robert Ravencroft or something like that. I think that's his real name. He's a country music singer, and I think he had like one big hit or a couple of big hits when he was young, and then like they got remade, and so he's been making money on royalties for the whole time, and he is like the daily run is like his route to the world. It's like his connection with existence. And when you talk about consistency, like consistency ends. Yes, you'll have it for a time and then it will end and then you can practice again. Right? But consistency in anything, for the most part, comes to an end at some point. Right? And momentum certainly builds with consistency, but like it seems like a big commitment to agree to do something every single freaking day, for example. Like the Get Shit Done show. It was not an easy choice to just be like, okay, I'm going to start doing this every day, period. Like I wanted to. I've been talking with, I've been talking about it for a while. I've been talking about doing a show every day for a while.
Yep.
But I didn't. And I used the first as momentum to move me forward on it. But I really want to do it. And I find that it's very good, but it's a big commitment. And making that commitment to do something every day it can seem overwhelming, daunting. It can seem like you'll fail. You will eventually. Okay. Eventually you're going to fail on doing something every day. Okay. And, then inertia and the feeling of being stuck. At the end of the day, dude, there's only one thing you got to do. Put on your freaking running shoes and step out the door. That's it. Run down the freaking driveway. Okay. That's all you got to do every day. Just get down that driveway and you're good. And so like it acts, all of the stuff, all of the thinking about consistency and inertia and momentum and all these things is a way of avoiding just doing the thing, being present right now and do the dishes or whatever, right? Just do it. It's cool. You can enjoy doing the dishes. Yeah. It can be awesome. It can be your connection to the universe, right? And so I find that when I'm talking with clients about procrastination and overwhelm and all these types of issues, that they go into so many metaphors, metaphor, rather than just talking about what the fuck they want to get done tomorrow and make a list, make a to-do list and schedule in the time and commit to doing it. And that's not all there is to it. It's kind of a black or white way of looking at things, but it is the quickest path to stop feeling inertia, is to make your list of 3 to 5 items and schedule it in for tomorrow. Hell, schedule it in for today. Right. So, that's my recommendation, is make a list, schedule a work party. Like, it allows you to bypass thinking about it too much.
Okay, sure. Yep.
I mean, it doesn't mean you can't, wax philosophical when you want to. That's cool. Maybe it makes for good Facebook posts to talk about these things. I'm not saying you can't think about them, but like, don't let your imaginary inertia stand in the way of you taking action today and messaging your new group members.
Right. Well, I mean, inertia is not necessarily a bad thing. It just exists. There's the flip side of inertia that I've found also, which ties into momentum. It's like an object in motion stays in motion. So it's like once you build up that beast mode and have been in it for a while, it's kind of like riding a mountain bike. You start off in a low gear and you start switching gears and you're cruising along, and then you start going faster and faster, and like
Totally.
to get further and faster, it takes less of a pedal
Right.
to, it takes less energy to keep moving.
Totally.
And yeah, so right now I'm working to get back on my mountain bike and start cruising through those gears, because yeah, I just started and I was like, maybe last week or about a week ago, and I was a couple of days into it, just crushing it, and then fell off.
Yeah, then the tire popped, and you didn't
Yeah,
have
the
a repair,
tire
and you didn't
pops.
have a repair kit, and you had to walk it back home.
Exactly.
In the cold rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
So it's like, yeah, I put
Yeah,
the tire
you're not
patch
in
on
shape
there.
yet. You're not in
What?
shape yet. You're not in shape yet. You're
Yeah.
just, you're just getting back on the bike. It's all right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the goal right now. It's like, fix the tire and
All right,
then
dude.
get back on the
Check it out.
bike and
Check it out.
start cruising through those gears.
Okay, well, let's cruise through. Let's cruise through some gears right now, and then
Okay,
we'll
let's
wrap
do it.
up, and we'll jump into our work party after that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so here's what's up.
Yep.
So by the end of the month, how many days a week do you want to be doing? I'll just call them sales calls for argument's sake. A meaningful sales conversation with a interested prospect.
5 days a week.
Okay. How long is your average sales call?
30 minutes.
Great. Let's call it an hour.
Okay.
So my average sales call is actually like 90 minutes. I really block an hour, and then it's kind of rushed. How many sales calls are you willing to set aside time for in order to do? How many sales calls do you want each day? 5 days a week. If each one's going to take an hour.
Okay.
Like, how many are you willing to do? And I
I'm
say
just thinking
willing,
about,
I mean, think about like not in overextending beast mode. I mean, in consistent mode.
Right.
How many can you handle?
Like 3 to 5. 5 would be maximum, I
You
think.
can't do 5 sales calls a day.
Yeah, no, that's way too many. I think 3.
Yeah.
Right. 3 realistically.
3. Okay,
yeah.
Great. So what I want you to do is on your fancy Google Calendar, I want you to and maybe you'll do this with Calendly, okay?
Yep.
But either on Google Calendar or Calendly, I want you to block out the time slots that are available for your sales calls. You decide when they're going to be. And those are the times that you set aside for it. Put them on a recurring basis. They don't need to be at the same time every single day, but like your Monday sales calls should probably be at the same time every Monday. And maybe you'll do from noon to 3 o'clock will be your time. Maybe noon to 3 o'clock, your time zone will be your sales call blocks. I don't know when maybe you'll have one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. I don't know, but like block the time off. Doesn't mean you can never do sales calls during a different time. It just means that's the time you're blocking off. Okay. Block it off. After you have it blocked off, like do that today. Okay. Then you're going to want to like make that available in your Calendly so that people can go in and schedule during those times. Right. So what you end up doing is right now, what's the number one thing that you can do to generate more sales calls? Or maybe you have 2 or 3 things that you can do right now to generate more sales calls. But what's the number one thing that you know you can do to generate sales calls in the next 24 hours?
Invite a bunch of more people into my Facebook group and start conversations with them.
Okay.
With the ones who join. That's where I'm finding like the people that are most aligned for what my offer is that I can actually help.
Okay. So one thing that you can do is invite more people into the Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that you can do is follow up with more people that join your Facebook group.
Exactly.
Okay. So inviting people in, following, messaging them,
Mm-hmm.
including every single one of the existing members. Have you messaged every single one of the existing members?
I have, other than there's been a couple of people that joined on after the initial
Okay.
reach out to
So
everybody.
message every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then every day, that's how you start your day. Or right? Like whatever, like schedule that in as soon as possible is manually welcoming in any new members.
Each member, yeah.
Okay. So that's super important. And following up with all of your existing members, keep that conversation going. Right.
Right.
So inviting more people in, following, messaging them, following up with existing members. Great. What else can you do to immediately, if you didn't have that Facebook group, how would you generate sales calls in the next 24 hours? What are
I'd,
your
I'd
strategies?
be going into other people's Facebook groups and engaging with other people's content in there. There's a lot of conversations going where people are looking for exactly what I have. And yeah, I can get pretty much a never ending stream of people from those groups that are looking for an opportunity like what I have.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, so engaging in other Facebook groups, I would even say engaging in other school groups.
Okay, cool.
Also, right now that you're doing Get Shit Done stuff in school,
Yeah.
you're plugged into that platform as well. And
Yep.
I think that could be really good.
All right.
Join, like basically try to become number one in a few school groups, including the Get Shit Done group. Hint, hint. Like gun for it.
Okay,
Right?
cool. Yep.
But it works the same in school. You can have a link to whatever on your profile, whether it's your school group or whether it's your Facebook group or your website or whatever. And so getting inside other people's groups, answering questions, engaging, good. Doing that in your own group, good. What else?
Creating more content, working on my brand, having posts with call to action.
I would say, exactly. Creating good content that has people, and that can take so many different forms.
Mm-hmm.
Creating good content that gets people to say, hey, I'm interested. Right?
Yep.
Okay, great. Those are 3 really good things that you can do. Okay. When you have your time blocks for your sales calls in your calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have a scheduled sales call, guess what's on your to-do list?
Those 3 things.
Those 3 things. So definitely write them down and send me a text message or a message on Messenger, or better yet, go like make a post in the school group with your 3 things that will really make the difference. And everybody's things are going to be different, right? Like this is what your 3 things are that you're aware of right now, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And so when you don't have someone scheduled in, you're going to do those things because there's no end. If you look at those things, you'll see there's no end to that task list. It's 3 things, but you could do those 3 things every day for the rest of your life.
True. Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And your things are going to change as you evolve, right? As you grow bigger. But so you're getting in there, you're doing those 3 things, and when you have a no-show, what do you think you're going to do?
Those 3 things.
After 10 minutes of politely waiting and calling them and sending them an email and making sure they have their link. Oh, by the way, whenever I have a no-show, this is kind of basic stuff, but I don't know if everybody does it. So if you have a no-show or you feel like you might get a no-show before an appointment, like number 1, send a text message. If you have no other way, send it from your cell phone. Send a text message to your prospect 15 minutes before your meeting and say, hey, Are you good to go for your meeting? Did you get the Zoom link? All set? I'm looking forward to it. Let me know, right? Do that if they don't show up. Say, hey, send them a text message. Hey, it's Tellman. I'm waiting on the Zoom. You had scheduled a call with me. I wanted to make sure you have everything you need. I look forward to talking to you soon. So I send the text, and then immediately I call them. Like, hey, what's up? Sometimes they forgot about the appointment. Sometimes they don't answer. Sometimes they're having technical difficulties, right? Usually one of those things is true. And so after 10 minutes, if I can't get in touch with them, I'm off the Zoom and I'm working on growing the business, right? And in this case, if what you're doing is sales calls, block off the time for those sales calls. And then in your non-sales call time that you have, use that, like you're blocking that time off in advance. It's like an investment in the business. One way or the other, you're going to invest time in growing the business during that time, regardless of what anybody else does or doesn't do. So that's the key, is not to be irritated or pissed off when you have no shows or where you have an empty calendar. Use the time to fill your calendar to the best of your ability.
Exactly. Right.
Cool. Do you have questions about that, or is that helpful?
No, that's helpful. That's pretty straightforward.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we've done an hour-long show here today, and so if you want to enter the a parallel dimension of hyper productivity, we would love for you to come and join our community, our Get Shit Done productivity cult for entrepreneurs over at School. You can go to school.com, skool.com/get-shit-done/about, and get a 7-day free trial to the Get Shit Done community, and you're going to get more shit done in your life than you ever have before if you jump in, engage, take part, and follow our instructions. If you guys like this show and you want to be on it, you want to get involved with the Get Shit Done intervention, type intervention down in the comments below and send me or Eric a private message letting us know that you'd like to do a GSD intervention, and we'll reach out to you and talk about getting you on here live to do what Eric and I have been doing here in the last couple of days. So thank you all for being here. Eric, thank you. Day 10.
Yeah, thank you.
Check. And you know what time it is?
It's time to get shit done.
It's time to get shit done. That's right. All right, dude. I'm going to send you a Zoom link in a minute.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys.
See you there.
Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. But I'm planning on seeing you tomorrow. Over and out.
Bye.